Hey everybody, it's Ms. Ladd again. Unit 5, Lesson 6, Loops Investigate. Let's check this out. So, think about this. Imagine if you were interested in finding out how much time it takes on average to walk from one end of your school to the next. You've decided to figure this out on your lunch break, and you're able to complete the walk 20 times. What would your algorithm look like? Where could a loop show up? Now, you don't need to write this algorithm in programming. You can just write it out in English or in what's called pseudocode. And that's just to put that into your digital journal. Great. Done. Right? We're going to go on to the next slide now. So, what is a simulation and why are they useful? What do you guys think? I believe this is also in your digital journal, so you should answer those questions. All right. It says, with a partner, navigate to lesson 6, level 1, and then run the app. Let's do that now. Okay, so let's talk about this. Run the app. Let's just do that. All right, total flips. What information does it take? It looks like total flips. Let's just type 5 there, and then we click the quarter. All right. So here it tells me I have a total of 2 heads and 3 tails. Okay, cool. If I do like 10 and I click the quarter, I've got 6 heads and 4 tails. All right, not too bad. So, what sort of thing is being repeated? Where is an opportunity to use a loop? And then, what information does the app output? So, it puts out the number of heads and the number of tails, right? So, let's take a look at that. Let's go ahead and hit finish and continue. So, what information does the user input? They put in the number of flips. How does the app process that information? Probably that just tells it how many times to flip the coin. So that might be where our loop is. What is being repeated? The coin flips, right? What information does the app output? The number of heads and the number of tails. So let's take a look at the next slide. All right, navigate to level 2, run the program, watch the code run, and then read each individual part of the program. So here's our program. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the debug console just a little bit. It's on the Rabbit, so it's going to run really fast. Let's do this kind of somewhere in the middle. Run the program, watch the code run, read each individual part of the program, discuss these questions with a partner, and be prepared to share answers with the class. Run this program for 10 coin flips, 100 coin flips, and 1,000. Woo! When you notice it taking, and then 10,000, wow. When you notice it taking longer, on what lines of the code is the program using a loop, and which lines of the code decide how many times to flip the coin? What does the command, the plus plus command seem to do? I already told you what plus plus does. It just increments by 1. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and run this. Let's go ahead and run this for 10. All right. Hit the coin. We can see like it put everything in. Let me go ahead and move this debug console down just nope, it won't let me move it down just a little bit. All right, and let's move this up so we can see all the code happening. Hit the coin toss. Yep. I'll just run it for 10 for right now. It's long enough for our purposes. All right. Cool. So here we go. We have a heads variable of 0 and a tails variable of 0. If I were to do this right now, I would check on this and say, if I were to do heads, it's going to give me 5, okay, and tails, it's going to give me 5, and total flips, going to give me 10. So 10 is what I put into total flips. Heads and tails is what got executed here. So if flip is equal to 0, um, okay. Interesting. I was wondering if here we go. Okay. So on event coin click, heads are now set to 0, tails are set now to 0. Okay. Good. I wanted to see if it reset these values when we clicked on the coin. And yes, sure enough, it does. So it says get the number of flips basically from our flip num input here. And then set that value to whatever this value number is. And then basically you're going to go through for each total flip. So from 0 to I is less than the total flips. And that's because, like, if I did 10, for example, total flips, 0 through 9 is still 10 items, or 10 times it would go through this loop. Then it checks to see if we were 0 or 1. If 0, then we're heads. If 1, we're tails. Okay. I'd probably do that the other way around. But that's just because I think of heads as a positive and tails as a negative. So I would probably have if flip is equal to 1, or just even I could just literally do if flip, because 1 is a truthy value versus 0, which is a falsy value. So we kind of talked about true and false, but that's another discussion for another day. So we'll talk about that again later when we get more in depth in these things. And then after we've done the for loop, right after the for loop has been completed, and you saw this, it goes through the for loop 10 times because that's how many times I wanted to coin flip. And then after that, played the sound, and then it updated the screen. Cool. All right, so I think we can just hit finish on that one. All right, so I just did it for 10 coin flips. You can do it for 100. You can put it on the rabbit side. You can see, like, when do you notice it taking longer? I'll bet you anything, the more coin flips you do, the longer it'll take. And then on what lines of code is the program using the loop? You can see that right where it starts with the for loop. Which lines of code decide how many times to flip the coin? And then what does the plus plus command seem to do? For example, tails plus plus just increments the value by 1. So it's the same as saying tails equals tails plus 1. How does a loop help when running similar simulations? What do you guys think? All right. Next activity is the font tester. All right, so here's the font tester. So run the program, watch the code run, and carefully read each individual part of the program. Discuss these questions with a partner and be prepared to share answers. Find 4 different for loops in the program. What do they each do? Take a look at the names of the screen elements in design mode, then navigate back to code. How is text plus I used? How does it evaluate with each round of the loop? What happens if you change the text box variable names? Try changing them from text 0, text 1, text box 0, and text box 1. What do you need to change in the code in order for the program to still work? Oh, I know this one. What happens if you change the Boolean expression? I less than 5 in the for loops. Change all the Boolean expressions to each of these options and discuss. All right, I'm going to let you guys do this. Play sound when the random button is clicked, modify if time allows. So please do these modifications. I know that you guys will have time to do them, and I will be looking for them. So I'll let you guys do this. All right. And then last item is just to kind of check on this, think back on the Font Tester app. Can you think of an example of another app or feature of an app that would use a loop to control different elements on a screen? All right, sweet. So, okay, so I already went through the other slides. I discussed them with you on the actual font tester itself. So you can just go ahead and ignore those for now because they're all on the font tester anyway. They're asking you to think about these things and to think things through. All right, so we're going to wrap up now. So as you guys remember, right, a for loop combines 3 parts into one statement. right? We have our initializer. That's basically where our count starts. So it initializes the count, starts the count. Then any variable name can be used, but it is most common to use I because initializer. I stands for initializer. And you don't have to worry about misspelling the letter I. It's just the letter I. While basically kind of goes through the same process. Here we have the comparison statement. So while this is still true, same thing over here. As long as I is less than 4, while that's true, we're going to add 1 to our counter. We're going to add 1 to our counter. And then we're going to run the code that's between the curly braces. So that's going to be move forward. So what aspects of working with for loops did you feel clicked with you today? And what do you feel like you still have trouble with? Please make note of those in your digital journals. I do plan to review them so that I can at least touch base with you and kind of help you with any sort of questions or problems that you might have. Alrighty, that's it for now. I'll see you in class.